Hi everybody, I'm Michael. Today we're going to be talking about the money tree and how you can grow her in your home. So, you ready to dig in? Let's grow. The beautiful money tree here goes by the botanical name Pachira aquatica, and she is native to Central and South America, to the swamps and bogs down there in Central and South America. The legend has it that how the name came about was that there was a poor farmer who was praying for wealth and to get out of poverty, and very soon after that prayer he discovered this plant growing in his field, and he was able to propagate it, and he gained wealth from that process. Another folklore about this plant is that you'll often see this sold in braids of 5 trunks, and the 5 trunks here are to capture abundance and wealth. And so that's what you'll typically see when these are sold. You'll see 5 braids of the stem. And speaking of the stem and the base here, you can see that it has a bulbous base, similar to what like the ponytail, but much more smaller than that. And this will store water. Way to continue braiding this, if you so choose, is that as new growth comes out, you want to trim off the leaves, keep the central leader, and then just keep braiding them together. But we have chosen to, with ours, is to not just to allow it to continue to grow, keep the braid down, keep the braided trunk, but allow the new growth just to start to spread out and create a bigger canopy. That's the look we want to go for. But one thing I want to point out is that when you're buying this plant, many of the people, almost everyone, when they're selling it as a braided item, they will put a twist tie around it, sometimes like a gold wrapping, but that needs to be cut off over time because that can choke the plant when it grows, and it can cut into the cambium. So you want to make sure you're aware of that. And if you do want to keep that, maybe get another twist tie a little bit looser and take that one off, and allow some flex in there so that the plant can grow and not have any chafing against the outer edge of the plant bark there. But it's such a pretty plant, you all. New growth will come out like this little winged little chrysalis type of growth, and then it pops out like this. Pop. Super cool. The plant will tend to lean, so you want to be aware of that and rotate the plant. And we'll go into plant care in a minute. But that's a characteristic of the plant, is that it will lean towards the light, kind of like our oxalis does, but not as quickly, but it does. So you want to rotate it occasionally every 90 days or so that they can get a balanced look. They can grow quite tall, up to 7 feet, but indoors you can keep them in any real size you want, depending on if you pot them up a lot. They'll continue to keep growing and getting taller. Really digging her. So what we're going to do now is rotate over into plant care. So let's go on to that step. On plant care, your money tree will grow in medium light, between 200 up to 500 foot candles, or high light, 500 to 1,000 foot candles or more. You don't want to put her where she's getting direct sunlight though, because that can cause some leaves to brown. And if you put her in a very dark area, very low light, the leaves will yellow, so you know your plant is not getting enough light. So those are kind of some tips to help you with caring for your plant. Oh, just such a cool plant. Now that we spoke about lighting, let's talk about watering. This plant, as I mentioned in the beginning, is naturally grows in bogs and swamps down in Central and South America. However, that's not the case with how you want to take care of her in your home. You don't want to keep the soil soggy. You want a rich soil mix, and we'll get into soil in a second, but on watering, you want to water yours every 10 days. Now it depends on your pot size. If you have a very small pot, and we do, and we'll give you a side-by-side so you can see the container size, and she's actually put some roots out at the bottom, so we need to up pot her. But on watering, you want to water every 10 days, but you want to water thoroughly. So you want the water to go all the way through. And then you want to let it dry out up to at least 50% of the pot base. So use your finger, the 1 knuckle, 2 knuckle rule of driving down your finger down into the soil. And if it comes back like it is here, where it's holding a lot of dirt, it's moist, you want to wait till that dries out. So that kind of gives you a guide, because if your plant is getting a lot more light near a bright window, it may soak up some more water and grow a little bit more robustly, and it may dry out more. So if some people have it growing in an area where it's getting medium light, may only need to water them every 10 days, or less. So that test with the finger is a really good tip we want to impart on you, is that it helps you with your plant so you don't tend to overwater or underwater the plant. So we talked about lighting and watering. Now let's talk about soil. You can use an indoor potting mix. You don't really have to amend it with perlite like we do for some of our other plants, because this one's a little more rich growing medium. So you can get a nice indoor potting mix. As you know, folks who've been following our channel, we use we like the Miracle Grow indoor potting mix, because that blend tends to not encourage fungus gnats. And just plant up, if you're up potting her, just plant that in that mix and you're ready to go. Now, this plant likes a little more humidity. So in home AC, typically you get a humidity between 30 and 40%, but this plant likes a little bit more. And what we'll do is show you another side-by-side here of what we have done, is that we put leca in the bottom of this container. So when the water pours through, that leca absorbs all that water, and the surface area of the leca helps bring up some of that moisture around the plant. So it tends to bring the humidity up a little bit more. But we've had times where this completely dried out and there was no water in the reservoir below, and the plant still is growing fine. So it's not too picky on the humidity. It does want humidity north of 40% though, which is outside the range of most homes with AC. But ours is done fine, and we think that this little leca plant hack is a cool thing that you can do for growing your money tree. On fertilizer, we recommend that you fertilize April through September, and you can use just a liquid fertilizer, a simple 20-20-20 with miners, and we'll provide all that information in the written care instructions in a minute. But it's not that fussy. You can skip a month or two of fertilizer, and this plant is going to do fine. It's not very fertilizer dependent, but it does help with keeping just overall health of the plant. And on pests, to speak to those, we haven't had any problems with pests. Our plant has done very, very well. Our money tree has just been sitting there putting out new leaves and just doing her thing. Got another one growing over here. She's just doing her thing and loving it. So we're very happy we have her. You'll probably see as I've been rotating this, and you can see that she's been leaning. So again, on that modest, slow to moderate growth, we're gonna put her towards the light on this side when we put her back on her plant shelf, so that, or on the dresser, that she will grow towards the light some more, because I just realized she's leaning a little bit. So what we're going to do now is rotate over into written care instructions, where we go a little bit more in depth, and then we'll come back and do a summary at the end. So let's go on to that step. We want to thank you for joining us today. But if you have any questions, just leave them down in the comment box below, and I'll make sure I get back to you. Till the next video, see you later.
If you found value in this video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. We post weekly. Thanks.